Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time. And yes, we have the man, the myth, the legend, Dion from Dion Talk. How you doing, sir?
Howdy. Thanks for having me on today. This is like an early treat for me every time I get to come on before Thursday. So ready for round one.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. I have so much fun. So, hey, one of the things that I don't know if it's obvious, you probably could tell, the audience maybe, the audience probably could tell, but I have been bothered, perturbed, frustrated that a lot of YouTube content creators have kind of tapped into a vein of fear, crash, crisis, depression, all of these things that I don't think the facts warrant it, but it's definitely something that works. And I've been uncomfortable doing that. And they're big, they're huge, they're making tons of money. But I've actually come to the realization, Dion, that they speak to spectators, and you and I and Matt and others on my channel speak to players. I think there's this thing called the game of money. I think we are all playing it. And if you don't know if you're playing it, you're a spectator. I think there's a lot of people that are afraid, they're spectators. I think there are a lot of people that want permission to do nothing, and they're spectators. Hence, given there's 10x spectators to players, their channels should be bigger. So what do you think of all that before I jump into the topic?
It's a little frustrating that if you present a bunch of data that shows that we are years away from a crash, you get a couple thousand views. Mm-hmm. But if you just leave the word crash up, you get tens of thousands of views.
Yeah.
Some investors have the mentality of, I will buy when it dips. And if interest rates go up, prices will come down. So then I can buy in the dip. Forgetting that if interest rates go up and the price comes down, so let's say it doesn't create more demand like it is now. They said rates are coming up next year, so demand surges because people want to get it before it happens. But if prices come down and interest rates go up, your cost is the same or more. Mm-hmm. It's like people would rather give money to a lender than to a seller. Mm-hmm. So saying in real estate, I'm going to wait for the dip is a mistake that a lot of investors make. Mm-hmm. And we want to back that up with, well, all of these people are talking about a crash, so that says I should wait for the crash. And yeah, so I'm right there with you. It's frustrating.
Yeah. But when I step back and think about it, I remember my time on Bigger Pockets. I bounced around on YouTube before I created a channel. There are a lot of people feeding what I'm now calling spectators. They're sitting on the sidelines. They're stressed out, quiet desperation. They don't know what to do, and they just want to be fed. And again, once you select these things, the AI or the artificial intelligence keeps feeding you negativity. If you don't break that cycle, you're going to get fed something until your brain is warped. And if that's the case, you're going to be a spectator. Life happens every day. You have a great saying, pretend like you're going to be alive in 5 years. Folks, if you're a spectator, I do not have any good news for you. It's going to be rough. So what I'm doing here, Dion, is I've just taken this idea, which hit me like a ton of bricks Saturday. So it's very recent. Spectator versus player, 10x spectators to players. And I'm trying to create the game of money. So I got a PowerPoint just with a bunch of random thoughts on it. I'm going to share it with you. We're going to go through it. It's by no means complete. I'm hoping you and the audience can help flesh it out more. But let's make this bigger. Can you see it now?
Yes.
All right. So here we go. So who can play, right? This whole concept of players and spectators. Again, what I want everybody to realize is as soon as you're old enough to work, which for me was 12 years old, you're playing the game. The game of money is being played. However, only players participate, meaning they have a focus, they're doing the work, they're trying to make things better, while most people are spectators and do nothing. They just kind of float on the wind like butterflies. Does that feel okay?
Well, if you go back to my Facebook profile and you go back about every 6 months to a year, I type out, money is a game and most people don't know they're playing. Just to remind people that you don't invest like it's a game, but money is a game.
Absolutely. I love it. All right. I might actually steal that quote because that's really clean. Rule number 1. I want it to be very clear because I think life is about happy. I got this from Gary Vee, giving credit where credit is due. If you are truly happy every day, like truly happy, not lying to yourself happy, but if you're truly happy doing what you're doing, and I got this from an experience when I was in Greece God, that was that 15 years ago. We stumbled across some guys just selling, I don't know, I guess they were fruit and wine on the side of the road. And he was having a great time. I think he was truly happy. If that's you, I want you to know you've already won. You don't need to play this game. I don't know what the percentage is, but I'm thinking there's 1, 2, maybe 3% of the people that are truly happy every day. But if that's you, congrats. You don't need to play this game. Most of us need to play.
It's like the analogy of the fisherman.
Mm.
The young guy sees the old fisherman and says,
Oh, yeah.
you could hire people to fish for you. You could sell the fish in town. You can make a bunch of money. And the fisherman says, well, why? Well, he says, you can make enough money to retire. He says, what would I do then? I would fish. Fishing now.
Fishing now.
And for me, I've always defined success as the continuous realization of a dream. It's not a money amount. It's not a financial freedom amount. It's not a job I want. It's, do I have a dream I'm pursuing? And am I successfully pursuing that dream?
There you go. I like it. I might take that too. See, this is why I talk to smart guys like you. So here's what I think the goal is. Again, excluding the 1% that are truly happy. What I think most people would benefit from is having passive or at least semi-passive income that exceeds their monthly expenses. Because when you get to that step, a lot more options open up. This is like goal number 1 or whatnot. So this is kind of what I think most people are working for. And again, I say semi-passive because being a landlord, self-management, it takes some time. It's not completely passive, but that's what I think the goal is. Is that reasonable?
Yeah. For financially, yes, that's absolutely the goal.
Awesome. All right. So the other thing I wanted to make sure, and I added this morning, most people, when they play games, they think it's hours, weeks, days, months, whatever. This game, if you choose to play it, and again, you're either a spectator, which you're playing it, you don't know it, or you're a player, you're going to sign up for 5 to 10 years. This is not a game that gets done in the afternoon. And oh, by the way, I'll probably add this, the first 3 to 4 years, really slow. Feel okay?
Yeah. So if anybody has ever been to my channel, you've heard this sentence. My goal is to teach the average person that you can reach financial freedom in 10 years or less, even if you're not starting from the best position. And I think 10 years or less confuses some people because they think that means tomorrow, because that's less than 10 years.
It is.
So
it is.
The first 5 years are really slow. And then that 5 to 10, it's hard to keep up with how the numbers are changing.
Yeah, it snowballs, to use your word. Oh, I love that. Okay. All right. So far, we're doing good. And then the other thing I want people to realize is once you hit the goal, right? Semi-passive or semi-passive income exceeds expenses, you can keep playing. You don't have to stop, right? A la watch Grant Cardone, right? What's he up to, like $2 billion in real estaters? You can keep playing. You don't have to stop.
Even on a smaller scale.
Yeah.
There's guys who reached financial freedom in 2018 and are still working.
Yeah, still working, still growing. You don't have to stop, but you at least have the option to consider it, but you can keep going. And I will tell you, as somebody who earned this after, I don't know, probably 12 years, it goes faster. You get better. Time in market beats timing market. It's a lot of fun. Okay. All players, I believe this is what all players should do. Once you've agreed to play it, you need to take inventory of where you are in life. What are your expenses, income, savings, assets, skills, passions, experiences? Where are you? You can't chart a path unless you know where you are and where you're going. So I think this is a key first step that most people ignore.
Yeah. So I have a video coming out Thursday on investor tips, new investor tips, and it's that conversation. And basically the second question is, what stage of investing are you in? And that's tabulating, how much bad debt do you have? Yep. Are you saving? What's your credit score at? Have you talked to a lender? So you got to figure out what point that you're at. Mm-hmm. And that means understanding your current position.
Yeah. And it's what the key about this step, it's something that all of you watching this can do today. And I would argue all of you should do today, but most of you won't. In order to start a journey, you got to know where you are. And sometimes you got to look in the mirror, and some of you won't like where you are, right? Dion, your story starts with $89,000 in debt you had no idea about. I'm sure that was not a good day.
No. And not only that, here's the thing that I usually don't put in the story too. I had to refinance our house. I was keeping it through the divorce, but I had to pay her equity. So I had to create more debt to buy my way. So
it was bad on bad on bad.
That's the wake-up call that some of us need when we look, this is my situation. And if I keep doing what I've always done, I'll be where I've always been. And I need this to change.
Yeah. again, lots of people that I speak with say, I want to get here, the hill, and it's all doable, right? Most of the people I talk to are like, hey, I need to get 3, 4, 5 grand. I do get the occasional, I need to get $1 billion. I'm like, whoa, at least I'm not your guy, right? But most people like 3, 4, $5,000. I can get you there. I can show you the path. But unless you are honest and you look yourself in the financial mirror, you can't get there, because you'll just do, like you just said, you just won't do the work, or you'll lie to yourself, which is even worse. Again, what is your monthly expenses? And I want this down to the dollar. And I want to tell people again, stop picking lazy numbers. It's not 5 or 10 grand. It's just not. Mathematically, it will not be this round of a number. It'll be something 4,306, something like that. Reasonable?
Yeah. A lot of times when I'm talking with someone one-on-one and we're trying to figure out their freedom number, it's really hard to project. So look at your last 6 months, pull up your bank statements, pull up your credit card statements.
Do the
What
work.
are my actual bills? What have I been spending to live my current lifestyle? That's your freedom number.
Exactly. And then, of course, we give you the cheat code, right? One of the things that people need to realize, it's not the $5 Starbucks. If you can go look at your biggest expense, which, oh, by the way, you just did in the preceding one, and you can choose to sacrifice and house hack or roommate hack, I can't tell you, Matt, Anna Kelly, Todd Baldwin, so many people took their largest expense and made it a big fat nothing. And some of them even got paid to live there. This is awesome.
The thing that entertains me very much so whenever we bring up house hacking is most people on the planet have had roommates at some point in time. College, your first couple of jobs, right when you moved out of your parents' house, and we had those roommates, we were totally okay with somebody else helping us pay someone else's mortgage. But as soon as we're the owner, something in our brain shifts and we think, this is my mortgage, I don't want anybody else to help me pay it. And that's mind-boggling.
I like that. Yeah. So again, folks, if you haven't heard Anna's Kelly's story, she sold a big house in Texas. She ultimately moved in with mother-in-law, which I'm sure was no fun for the first 6 or 9 months, and then bought a 4-plex with 2 kids. I don't want to hear about it, right? With 2 kids, ultimately having a 3rd one while she was there, I believe. So again, this is a way. And then once you do that, you live for free, you snowball your income. It just really is that acceleration. Most players at beginning of the game need to lower expenses. This is what I call needs versus wants. This is something that was huge for Olivia and I. When we started this game, we were already 30 years old, which means we already had a child. We already had a lifestyle where we were spending everything we earned. So we had to do these things that I call needs versus wants. We took care of the needs. We did that for 10 or 12 years. But we didn't do any of our wants for a long time. So for most of us, we need to look at the past 6 months and go, I would tell people not only do that, but go in and, N means need, like I needed gas to get to work. Want is I bought a new belt or a new shoes or whatever. There are some things that are just wants. And if you really want to get this thing going, sacrifice some wants now so you can have all the wants later.
So I think there's kind of 3 steps to this. The first one is avoiding life creep, because so many people forget to focus on increasing their income. They want to save. They want to, I mean, I get it. You can cut coupons. You can join the was that Groupon to do things with at a discount. You can keep your car longer instead of renewing your payment. You can do all of these things to reduce your expenses. But if you're not increasing your income in some way, and sometimes we don't have the opportunity to call our boss and say, I want to work overtime. It's just not an option at some companies. And there are side hustles that you can do that can be hobbies. For about 5 years in the beginning of my investing, I used to play a game called World of Warcraft. And I would sell things on websites from the game. People would buy things that don't exist, almost like a metaverse, but in a virtual game. That was a $200 to $300 a month side hustle that was while I was playing a game.
Wow.
Anything you can do to increase your income is going to have, in some cases, more impact than anything you can do to save, because you can only save 100%.
Exactly.
If you literally spent nothing, you can only save what you've made, but there's no limit to how much you can increase your income.
Yeah. And hopefully I have that in here. If not, we're going to add stuff like that. So again, this is something we talked about early on. The game of money moves very slow in the first 4 years. And too many people give up too soon. They're like, I've been doing it for 2 years. It sucks. It doesn't work. Blah, 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 blah.
That's why I say you're going to be alive in 5 years. Start investing like it. People pretend that 5 years is not going to pass anyway. So why do the work to benefit then?
Believe me, you want to be here in
now.
5 years. It's the alternative is not great.
Right. No.
That's funny. Oh, here we go. I did have it in here. Glad I did. Side hustle income is the best option for most W-2 employees. Real estate was mine. Yours was World of Warcraft. YouTube channel, books. I mean, whatever it is. There's never been a time in recorded history to turn your passion hobby into additional income, whether it's a couple $100 or thousands of dollars. You can increase the income. And I would tell people to audit what their passion and hobby is. And I bet you can find a way to make some money at it.
There's also a way to monetize your W-2 job. And this is a side hustle I've not heard talked about a lot, but it's really benefited me.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a W-2 job and you are a professional, you are an industry expert, contact law firms to find out where they source their expert testimony at. I've been a commercial driver, worked in law enforcement. I've been loss prevention. I've been a Marine. I've testified in several cases where you can make $1,000 to $5,000 just by being deposed on how an industry works. And once you get on that registry, you'll start getting calls based on the job that you do, whatever that is, and it'll relate to some case that some attorney needs your opinion on. And
nice.
That's a really easy side hustle to do because it's usually 2 or 3 phone calls and sometimes a couple hour deposition to make thousands of dollars.
Awesome. I love that. Again, it's never been a better time to monetize your skills, your passions than today. It's amazing. For me, let me make this a little smaller. There we go. Focus, daily discipline are the keys to learning any new skill. And again, I always say real estate investing is a skill. But if you want to trade cryptos, you want to trade stocks, you want to lose weight, you want to have a better relationship, you want to learn a language, you want to play music, it all comes down to focus and daily discipline.
Yeah, the 10,000 hour rule.
You got it. Exactly.
Confidence comes from competence. And the more competent you get at that skill, the more confidence you're going to have in everything you do in real estate.
Totally agree. Cheat code again. Audit your circle of friends, as many of you will not like that many of them will not like you're changing and having big dreams. Some of you, if you're in the stands, again, think spectator and player, and you want to get out of the stands and become a player, but you keep the same set of friends and they're all spectators, you're not going to have a very good time and they may pull you back.
There's a sentence I like to repeat to people. And when it's in writing, it's easier because you can see where the comma goes because the sentence is the same, except for where the comma is. You can't change the people around you, but you can change the people around you.
I like that. Man, you're good at this. Thank you. All right. Buy and hold real estate provides many gifts as time ticks by, right? This is whole time in market better than timing the market. You can cash out refi. Oh, by the way, tax-free. Inflation, right? Like we've never seen before, both in assets and rent. Mortgage pay down, i.e. every month you're adding to your net worth, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
And add tax benefits. And I think that's the trifecta right there.
There you go.
So.
Tax benefits. I will add that. Cool. How to lose. Because again, if you're playing the game, you can lose. Again, this is real estate oriented. If you are buying or creating alligators, that is going backwards. That's a big no, no, no. If you are buying in a market or an event that's betting on appreciation, that's a big no, no, no. Buying because someone else said so is not a good idea. And then lastly, forgetting it's a people business.
There's a quote from, this guy's got to be in the top 2 smartest people I know. Top 2 smartest people I ever interact with. You can go broke buying cheap.
Yeah.
And I meant that. I meant everything I just said.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice. Yes, I'm going to add that one. You can go broke buying cheap. I keep saying that and I forgot that one. Thank you. That's good. That's very nice of you to say. I'm not sure. That's awesome. All right. So that's what I got. And so again, I think this is still being fleshed out. I do think I can almost envision, I don't know, there's a lot here, but again, you're either a spectator or a player. I am now comfortable that most people are spectators and thus most people, if you're a spectator, you're probably turned off by my channel because I'm asking you to focus. I'm asking for daily discipline. I'm holding you accountable. I'm introducing you to 1,000 other people that are doing the work. You probably don't like the spotlight. Okay, fine. Go be a spectator. I'm not for you. So I'm now comfortable with that. And I wasn't until Saturday.
It's kind of easy to vet that out. I did a post in the Real Estate Ricky group recently on, and I'm probably gonna, it's literally, it was a script to a video. I think it's going to end up being a script to a video. I bought a duplex for $298,000 in 2018. My friend just closed $555,000 on a duplex 6 houses away. Her first year is better than my first year. And I pointed out interest rates are half what I paid when I first got it. Rents are almost double what I paid when I first got, or what I was getting when I first got it. And I pointed out her deal is better. She paid almost twice as much. And about 80% of the people in there said that's great to know. Those are things I hadn't thought of, but there was 20% of the people. And there's the sentence is, if you want something, you find a way. If you don't want something, you find an excuse. And that 20% had the excuses.
Yeah.
Every reason why they were trying to find a hole in the math, every reason why they were trying to say it was a one-off. And I'm like, no, this was right off the MLS. This was traditional lending. This was her first deal. And so there are people who don't want to hear what we say because we want people to do the work.
Yeah.
Have daily discipline, look at your deals, get right off the MLS, traditional lending. The deals are out there, but you have to learn your market. You have to know what's average. You have to go after the great ones. And it doesn't happen overnight.
No.
And it isn't going to happen because of a crash.
Exactly. So again, thank you for playing this with me. This is going to flesh out. I think there'll be something that we round this out again. It'll become something that I push for the next decade or so. So Dion, how can people find you?
Right here on YouTube and on Dion Talk Financial Freedom, Tuesday evenings, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard. And tonight I am giving away a set of your autographed books.
Nice.
From a video I did on Saturday. So I have a list of names, going to roll for it tonight.
Awesome. Let me know where to send them. I will autograph and get them out. Thanks, buddy.
Ciao.